Good afternoon. Hope everybody's well today. Want to start off by saying congratulations to Cairo for the NFC Special Teams Player of the Week. Obviously, credit goes to the group. The snap, the hold, the kick, of course, is the most important thing, but protection is also important. I thought the guys did a really nice job. The cover teams did a nice job. I thought special teams overall have been a strong point for us. And that's a lot to say because we have a young crew out there. There's a lot of young players out there, and that goes back to the willingness of the players to learn and to listen to the coaches, and that goes back to HT, and Coach Pope. So I think it's a tribute to them, and again, my hat's off to those guys that did a nice job. Some honorary captain for this week is EQ. For when we go down to Dallas, so I'm excited for him. He's certainly deserving of that. He's been a consummate pro for us. Just watch how he blocks. He's a great point of attack blocker and does everything we ask. So we're excited for him for that opportunity. Injury report estimation will be later today because we're going to do a walkthrough, so it'll be an estimation of injuries. Lucas Patrick will likely go on IR later today. We're still determining the extent of that injury, and we'll figure that out as we go. We'll elevate offensive lineman Dieter. Dieter will go up today to the 53-man roster. And then Byron Pringle, he's eligible. He's going to be eligible. We're going to open up his window for the 21-day window today. So we're going to see where he goes in terms of his conditioning level. Again, he's been working with the strength staff, but we're going to open his window up today for that. And again, if he does really well, we'll see what happens for later in the week. And then we also signed Darius Fountain to the practice squad. He's a guy that I had before in Indy for a short time, so we know him, understand what kind of guy he is. He's an excellent young man, and a good team guy. With that, I'll open up to questions.
Going back to Monday night, there was the third down conversion where Justin escaped and hit Cole, and then Cole rushed the ball back in to get the next snap up.
Yeah.
I'm curious, first, your assessment is just the completion and what happened there. And then secondly, obviously something you guys have been working on since the spring to see Cole be alert, aware, and that whole operation run as smoothly as it did.
Yeah, it's just if you're ever concerned about, first of all, the play was a nice play. It was a good scramble. It was a good scramble drill. He got himself open and great throw and a catch. But after that, when it's near the sideline or we don't know if it's quite a completion there, we want to get on the ball and go as fast as possible so the other opposition doesn't get a good look at the play and can't throw the flag. So that was really operation there. I thought we did a good job.
What does that tell you when details like that are executed the way you've coached them?
Yeah, it's just the practice part of it. We always say that we'll see it out there first, and we've seen it, and we've done a good job of practicing that. You got to set those things up. You at the spur of the moment, you just say the word or what words we're using for those particular plays, and the guys did a good job of really stepping up their pace and getting the playoff.
When you and Ryan both got here, one of the first things you mentioned was building the run game and having the run game be the foundation of your offense. Now, nearly halfway through, you guys lead the NFL in rushing. So, from your perspective, what's gone into being so successful in that regard?
Yeah, I think it starts with obviously really just the commitment to it. You have to commit to that. A lot of people say it and they don't, then they run the ball 15 times. But we're committed to running the ball, and then you got to really do a great job of acquiring the right coaches. So we thought we did a really good job of that. With Chris Morgan, Austin King. Those guys have historically been able to run the ball very well at their spots. And so those guys have done a great job of teaching our guys. And then the scheme itself is difficult, with the inside-outside gap trap, toss to either side, all those things that we do. And then obviously the element of the quarterback. You have the quarterback that has the ability to run. He certainly gives you another element and another, dose of yards, so to speak, in the running game. So it's been good so far.
Are more teams, like in today's day and age, when you talk about, the commitment to it, where a lot of teams will say they want to run the ball and they don't. Like, is that just a harder thing in today's NFL to commit to based on personnel, based on this is a passing league or whatever?
Yeah, I think it depends on the staff. I think it depends on the head coach and the GM where their eyes are. So I think a lot of teams, in order to be good, you have to be able to run the ball. That's been proven. And analytics say differently sometimes, but I know that when you control the line of scrimmage and have the ability to run the football, you control a big part of the game on either side of the ball. So that's what we're committed to.
With Lucas Patrick going on IR, safe to assume that Sam Mustafer is still the guy at center, no changes there?
Yes, it'll be that for sure. Yep.
Matt, how much of your success do you think against the Patriots was because you were on the mini bye and having all that time to prepare? And in regard to that, how much do you think this next week on short rest will be maybe even a better indicator of just where you are as a team?
Yeah, so when we got off the schedule there, off of the Thursday schedule, the Thursday game with Washington, we spent a better part of one of those days on Dallas. So we thought ahead because time is time. You only get so many times. So we spent a better part of one day of that break on first and second down versus the Cowboys. So we've already got a chance to look at that. We were already ahead of that. So we feel like we're in a good spot with that. Now we're doing a walkthrough practice today, and that's really about keeping the players fresh. So we'll still get the scheme in. We'll be all squared away there, and then we'll work on the first and second and third down tomorrow.
I know you've done that kind of thing before, even in training camp, looking ahead, but is that common? Is that your own kind of thing, that idea of taking, trying to get a week ahead because everybody?
Yeah, I'd always work back and look at the time, so where do you gain the time? In these short weeks, long weeks, you still have the same amount of time, but sometimes you got to think ahead a little bit and put that time forward, and it's important to do that. We've always done that since I've been in pro ball, with who I was with first, so it's important to do.
Cowboys defense, obviously a lot of stuff starts with Parsons. I'm curious your specific evaluation of what you see from him, and then also just the things that Dan Quinn does to really strain an offense.
Yeah, it's just really, using your skill, using your best player, and he does a good job of using him. He's moving him around all over the place. He plays off the ball linebacker a little bit, but mostly he's on the edge, and he has a chance to move him right to left. And of course, D-Law is a good player too, so you got some players there that are a handful, and we got to do a good job and know where those guys are.
What's so dangerous about Parsons?
I think just his quickness, and he's very strong, so I would say the quickness off the ball, he can beat you to the punch, and then really his strength, his intensity is also really good.
Last week you said you'd go with the hot hand at running back, and David and Khalil were relatively even in touches. What's kind of your thought process with those two guys?
Yeah, we really like the 1-2 punch there, and we're going to continue to do that. They both bring an added element to the game for us, so we're going to keep using both guys. And we feel that's a real strength for us on our running game, and in the passing game. So we're excited about having both those guys for us.
Matt, you've for a long time had the buy-in of your whole locker room, but after a win like that, seeing your principles play out, does it give you an energy that is a little different, or do things feel different around the team?
Yeah, I would just say that, when you have success, you have to handle that a certain way. When you have adversity, you have to handle that a certain way. And I think when you become a mature competitor, you have the ability to handle them almost one and the same. So certainly when you win, there's all this other stuff going on, but there's distractions in that when you win. There's a lot of so-called hype for, a victory or 2 victories or 3 victories, whatever that might be. When you're in the middle of a season, I think that you have to keep everything in perspective. Look at the performance for what it is, okay, and how can I improve? If you lose by 5 or win by 19, whatever that is, it is what it is. It's over now. So now you got to go ahead. How can I improve today in practice with my coach inside the scheme and make sure I'm doing things the right way for the guy next to me? And I think that you have to look at both of those things the same, because the performance is over now.
Seemed to be a buzzword last week, particularly coming off the games that you guys came off of. What did you see, good, bad, or otherwise, second half Monday night in terms of finish and what you're looking for?
Yeah, I've been, pleased with the guys all year in terms of their, mental and physical stamina in the second half. Now, what we needed to improve on was the execution part of it. So the guys have been there. We've been there to make those plays. Now we just had to finish off and do it. So we challenged the guys last week about getting that done in practice first, and then they had an ability to do that in the game last week. So we'll see what we do this week.
Matt, with your operation for coach challenges in-game, how does your operation work?
For in-game challenges, yeah, I mean, we obviously have a couple sets of eyes upstairs, that help me to see where it is, and then we decide, obviously in the first half, you can be a little bit more liberal with using it because you want to, it's the first half, and then, really just make a decision. If we feel comfortable and confident about it, we'll throw the flag. If not, we'll just hold it.
So the voices that are in the headset, are this analytics focused, and how did you determine who would be in your ear for challenges when you were going?
I would just say the best set of eyes up there that we use. Certainly there's an analytics guy up there with me, and then also, whatever side of the ball is going to help me. We have one guy on each side that'll help also.
Man, is Bayless Jones Jr. still in consideration as a punt returner? Obviously, you guys went with Dante.
Yeah. Yeah, like we said, it's a work in progress. Obviously you had the two muffs, so now we're just, we're looking for consistency in practice. So Dante is doing that, and he's done that for us, and again, he had one the other day too, so he's just got to make sure that he's squared away. The guys work hard at it, and the first thing about those guys is securing the football. So we'll just keep working those guys in there and put the guy in there that we feel best for that particular game.
Matt, what's the coaching point on Justin putting the ball on the ground 4 times? The other day, it seemed like there were different scenarios and kind of precipitated.
Yeah, I'll just make a generalized statement that, ball security is number one, so it's important that everybody who handles the ball does a good job with the ball. So it's been brought to everybody's attention, that we did have those, I think it was maybe 4 or 5 of them in the game, and we just got to work to improve that.
Is it as simple as saying the weather was bad? Or, is that any excuse?
No, it's never an excuse. The ball is the ball, and it's the most important thing. So the weather's going to be what it is. It's for the same for both sides, so we got to make sure we figure it out.
Two more for a second. Obviously, this is your first time in this role, and to have
Say the first part.
back to Cairo.
Okay.
For a second.
Yep.
What does it do for you as a coach, just in terms of situational planning and decision-making, when you know that you've got a guy that has been nails and ultra reliable the whole year?
Yeah, it's great. It's great to have that because when you're in a certain part of the field, we got to do certain things on offense to put ourselves in that position to make sure it's a good situation for that particular kick. And we've done a good job of that. So yeah, it's certainly comforting, and he's done a good job. He's a pro through and through, and he comes to work every single day.
Matt, just for you, what does it mean to see Justin have the game that he did the other day? Because you ride that roller coaster with him too, and when he's struggling, I'm sure you feel for him. So to see him play well on a national stage like that, what are you feeling for him?
No, it's like anything, like we talked about with Eddie Jackson earlier in the year. I think that when you see a player succeed, as a coach, you have joy. You have joy in that. You like to see that. You like to see him have fun playing the game, and then obviously the result was good, and that's good to see for his growth, and where he is as a quarterback.
Matt, as far as Bayless, what do you guys need to see in practice for him to get more snaps on?
Offense? Yeah, just consistency. Consistency of alignment, assignment, key technique, him executing his position.